Hi everyone. It's exciting for me to be able to make this video to welcome you back after 3 months being away, of not being able to celebrate the Eucharist together as a faith community. I've pulled up in the parking lot in front of church here, just as you all will be able to next weekend for the first time after that break. So many people have told me that they miss coming to Mass and receiving communion, and I must admit I've missed seeing all of you. And so it's appropriate that the first weekend that we can gather again to celebrate the Eucharist is the Feast of Corpus Christi, a very ancient feast in the church liturgical cycle celebrating the importance of the Eucharist for us as a faith community. It's hard to believe that it's been 3 months since we've been able to gather together in worship. Our parish staff has been working very hard over the past few weeks to make sure that everyone can return as safely as possible. And so I want to thank them all for their efforts, not only in keeping us together as a faith community during these months, but also in the preparations for your return. We're going to have a little bit of a gradual reopening next weekend, having only 2 Masses, one on Saturday at 5 p.m. and Sunday at 9 a.m. We're doing that because we're not sure. We have to disinfect and sanitize the church after each Mass. We're not sure how long that's going to take, and so we want to see whether we can accomplish that and still have Mass at 11 a.m. We'll announce that for the following weekend. I want to remind you that Archbishop Lori has extended the dispensation from the obligation of Sunday Mass, and so if you are feeling ill or aren't comfortable being in large groups of people, please know that you can still join us in worship via our live stream Mass, which we will continue for the near future. A few reminders are that everyone over the age of 2 is required by state law to wear masks for Mass and to maintain a 6-foot social distancing from people who are not in your household. We're trying to open as safely as we can, and so thanks for your cooperation in understanding all the rules and regulations that we are trying to accommodate. Other things to note, we've been prohibited from singing during worship because of the expectorants that happen when you're singing in terms of the spread of the virus. And so we're still going to have music to add joy to our celebration, but I have to ask you to only mouth the words or hum along and try not to sing. Seating is limited by, again, archdiocesan and county regulations to 30% of our normal capacity, which means we can have a little over 200 people at any one Mass. To be able to manage that, we're going to ask you to please sign up and make a reservation for the particular Mass that you want to attend using our sign-up genius on our website. You have to do that each week that you plan to attend, and that will help to keep us all organized. If you have trouble with access to the internet, you can call our parish director of operations, Pat O'Connor, and she can help to sign you up for the Mass you would like to attend. Before leaving home, I wanted to ask you to follow again the suggestions that are given to us from the CDC, and that is that you take your temperature to make sure that you're feeling okay. Also, we want to let you know that the main restrooms in the church are closed because of, again, the impossibility of sanitizing each unit after people use it. And so there will just be one toilet available, so you might want to take care of your personal needs before you come to Mass. Also, remember to bring a facial covering for anybody over the age of 2. You probably should leave home a little extra early to arrive at church early to allow the time necessary for the check-in and seating procedures. Again, remembering to maintain that social distance from others not in your household the whole time that you are here. And so I just wanted to share a few thoughts about the big picture. We're going to go inside now, starting with the check-in procedure. I'd like to take you through that, so please join me as we continue our tour. as you approach the church, please go to the left-hand door where all people will be entering until they approach the sign-in table. There will be somebody at the door greeting you.
Hello, sir. Do you have a mask?
Yes, I do.
Oh, would you please put it on for the duration while you're in church?
I will. And so you can see everybody will be required to have a mask as they enter the church. Once you have your mask on, you walk into the sign-in table. As you can see on the floor, there are blue space markings every 6 feet. If there happens to be a line, please make sure that you're socially distancing yourself from the people that are in front of you. It will be important all the time in church to wear a mask and to make sure you are socially distanced. When you reach the check-in tables, there will be 2 available to keep people moving. You will have to have signed up on our sign-up genius on our website before you come to Mass so that we can follow the guidelines for the 30% limit on the number of people attending Mass. Approach the table, give your name, and you will be checked in.
Hello, sir. Do you have a show registration?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and your name?
Keith Wong there.
Okay, yep, I see you here.
Excuse me, sir. When you're standing at the table, please make sure to pay attention to the markings on the floor so that we can stay social distance.
Thank you. As you can see, even I, who have helped set this all up, can't remember everything, and so you're asked to stand in the box and keep a 6 feet distance between you and the check-in attendant. We want to thank our pastoral council members who have volunteered to staff the check-in tables during this crisis. Once you've checked in, you will proceed following the blue markings on the floor to the usher in the rear of the nave. Some of our regulations prevent having a collection in church because of the passing of the basket from hand to hand, and so there are boxes now on this table in the center of the nave, both for the regular offertory and for the second collection. Please drop your envelopes in those baskets if you do not do electronic transfer of funds. We want to thank everybody who has been so supportive using electronic giving. Also, you'll see here, if you have some kind of disability and need special seating, you should tell the usher in the back of the nave. This would include being able to use the special needs seating that are in the front of the nave with the armchairs.
Welcome to Mass. Would you like to proceed to the aisle for seating?
Thank you. As you can see, to maximize our seating during this process where we have 30% limitation, you will be directed to one side or the other. We're using the diagonal aisles for seating. We ask you to really be cooperative with the ushers because we need to start seating from the front and move our way to the back in order to keep all the distancing and to maximize the space that we have.
So we come this way, we'll direct you to
No,
the
I'm going
front.
to sit here.
No, so we need to move to the front so we can accommodate all the people who are coming back. We appreciate your cooperation. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. As you can see, our very kind ushers have invited me to come forward because, first of all, if you take a look here, I sat in a pew that is marked with an X. Every other pew is marked with an X. That means you are invited not to sit there, and that keeps people 6 feet apart, front and back. Also, to maximize our seating, it's very important that we try to space people and fill the front pews and work to the back.
So if you proceed to the front, someone will seat you. Welcome. Please move in and stay 6 feet away from the next family.
As you can see, I was invited because I got here early to sit in the front row. We invite you, when you sit down, if you're the last person in your group, to extend your arm as the next person comes in, because that creates the 6 feet spacing that you need in the pew to keep socially distanced appropriately. So now I just wanted to mention a few things about how Mass will proceed. It'll be pretty normal, according to what we're used to. One difference would be that there is no collection, because we can't be passing the basket from hand to hand. And so, as I mentioned earlier in the video, there are boxes out in the narthex for both the first collection and the second collection. And an usher will be standing as usual at the door to receive your core box offerings as you leave Mass. Another rather important part of our new regulations are that singing is prohibited because of the expectorant that happens when one sings in the spread to contain the spread of the virus. And so we will still have music during Mass, but you're asked to participate in that music by mouthing the words, which of course nobody will be able to see because your mask is on, or humming along, but please try not to sing because of the physical results of that. The only other big difference is in terms of receiving communion. Again, we have to maintain physical distancing, so you're asked to follow the directions of the ushers. And because we are not allowed to dismiss everybody together at the end of Mass to maintain physical distancing, we will distribute communion at the end of Mass, and then you're asked to walk out after you receive communion, and that will break up the dismissal. So at the end of Mass, the usher will come to your pew, and as you can see on the floor, there are blue lines, and so you're asked to keep 6 feet distance from the person that's in front of you. If you're with a spouse or your family, of course you can be together on those lines. So please come out into the aisle, stand on the blue line, and when the person in front of you leaves, you can lower your mask on one side and put your hands through the opening, trying not to touch the opening with your arms. The minister will drop the host into your hands without touching your hands. Otherwise, if they touch your hands, there's sanitizer here that they have to stop and sanitize before they give communion to the next person. So then please receive the Eucharist as you're walking away, and replace your mask as soon as you can as a caution for everybody else that's in the church. Then you're asked to walk down the center aisle as you leave. If you would like a few moments of private prayer, feel free to go back into your pew and pray. But we need to keep the movement going and people dismissed in a kind of broken up fashion. And so you're asked not to gather in the narthex, even though that's what the narthex is for, to please proceed right out of the building, maintaining your physical distance from other people. If it's going to be hard, since we all have not seen one another for a while, not to want to talk to one another, and so feel free to do that out on the plaza or out in the parking lot, but please make sure that there's room around you so people can get by. I look forward to seeing you this weekend. I hope this was helpful, and God bless you.